Hey YouTube, thanks for finding me. Jeremy right here with another tank talk, and today we're going to be talking about a tank that I very recently loaded a video but I changed. So this is one of my smallest tanks. It is a nano tank, a little 3-ish gallon rimless. And so what changed? For one, I removed my Endler's Live Bearer. I added these white galaxies that came from my friend Matura, Gate as we call her, one of my best buddies, and check these out. So there are now 3 of these gups. There are also a couple of, where are they? Where are they? Neons. I think they're neons. They might be cardinal tetras, but they usually hide in the back. So maybe we can get a reflection of them off of the back glass. In fact, I see it already. That stripe that we kind of see like right in that area. Yeah, that's tetras. Way down there. We're just barely getting a glimpse of them. But anyway, just a few days ago, I loaded a video of Philanthus fluitans flowering, and I ended up removing most of those from this tank, moved them over to another place, but I also did a little shot of manual pollination of those flowers and discussed the flowering mechanism. But my partner Scott came by and he brought me some cool stuff, goodies. Just, see, that was 2 days ago. Among those things, he brought me some plants. He also brought me some shrimp, and we did a little trade and haggling, but basically he just brought me gifts, was really what happened. And I'm very thankful. Among those things that he brought me like 7 different types of plants. There's one of them right there. And you know, I'm gonna have to get a positive ID on it before I actually claim to know what it is. It's not what we thought it was at first, so I'm going to go back. It may be an inclinata, but I'm gonna have to actually find out for sure. Given that it has that 90-degree leaf structure, that was what initially keyed me off to what it's not. So now I have to figure out what it is, and I'll just have to go back and compare some stuff. So sometimes that's easy, sometimes it's hard, but yeah, this tank has been pretty interesting. I've removed a lot of ram's horns from this tank just over the last few months, and I guess I'll just tell you about it. So looking down to the bottom in the substrate, we can see obviously this has a purchased aqua soil, and I think this is Amazonia, but don't remember. So plants in here. Crypts are just going gangbusters as they always have. I have to remove the crypts from here pretty frequently, and it looks like it's not quite time right now to divide them up again, but soon it will be. So we can look down in this area and kind of get a glimpse of that. And we see that there are small crypts popping back up. There are also large crypts growing side by side. Those are growing too closely together for my liking. And I've had to just remove several. So I replanted a Ludwigia right here, that's repens. And the place where I snipped it from is just a little bit over this way. We'll see, I may have to change angles to give you a good view, but about mid-screen now, we can see right there is where I snipped it. So that will be growing back out. The thing that's in the back, super interesting, not a generally kept aquarium plant. And this is one of the things that I gave Scott McKenna when he came by. I took a cutting of this, and this guy, Mexican Petunia, I showed just a few days ago when I was talking about the red root floater flowering mechanism. Anyway, I gave him my prettiest cutting of it happily because he gave me some awesome stuff. Also in this tank, Arrowids. And that not just awesome? So it's literally growing from inside the tank. You can see right there, it's just hanging down, and actually it's kicked up a little bit. So I may need to poke it down just a bit further, and do that right now while I'm noticing, and make sure it's got access to some aguas. But I will also suggest, see this curl from the leaves? That could be, actually that's just, I think this one was trying to form when it got pulled out of the water. It may have just been nutrient starved. This one, indication the plant was lacking water. So now I know why it was lacking water, right? It was pulled up out of the tank. So I probably disturbed it recently, didn't realize that. And it should be kind of tucked under there, so those roots have that access to water at all times. And the ram's horn snails that were in here, I've been kind of kicking them out, pulling them out few by few, and then sticking them in one of my, just a little vase, a glass vase, a small one that's just kind of a place where I put the ram's horns so they can exist. But a lot of the plants in here, you can see they've got nibbles. See those holes like in the Java fern back there? Those aren't nutrient deficiency holes. See the holes in the crypts over here? Those aren't nutrient deficiency holes. And if you look down at the star grass, it was just getting ravaged by ram's horn snails. So there's a little one on the glass right there in front of, I don't know, that might not be inclinatus, so I shouldn't call it that, but I'm happy to have snails in here. There's a nearite who is probably, in all fairness, underfed. But Malaysian trumpet snails, MTS, are also in here. They're big and healthy, but I don't like these little plants getting nibbled to death. So you can see, like, that's an otherwise pretty darn healthy plant, but it's been nibbled to death in the bottoms. And no likey. I no likey, plant no likey, snail likey. Problem, right? Problem. But there is still a bunch of healthy stuff. Anubias nanopetite's growing in here in several places. I've actually been pulling it out, propagating elsewhere, because this tank is just producing very well. And then if we look up to the top, first off, we'll see an ugly white extension cord, but begonia. So that's like a cane begonia, angel wing or dragon wing begonia. And it's finally starting to take. It had a hard time starting in this tank. And that just is what it is. I do not add ferts to this tank. I add fish food, so it's grown in the aquaponic method. Now there is what was at one time nutrient-rich soil or a soil product in the bottom here. But yeah, nothing gets added in here. It's just what it is. And I'm gonna break and look at the most recent water test so I can give you a report on that. Pausing just for a moment. Oakley dokley. I had to grab my water log so I could actually give you an accurate report. So temp in here has ranged from a high of about 76 to a low of about 72 over the last few weeks. TDS from a high of about 122 to a low of about 85. pH, a high of 8.02 to a low of about 7.75. GH, a high of 350 parts per million to a low of about 225 ppm. KH, a high of about 120 ppm to a low of about 80 ppm. Nitrate and phosphate have ranged from a whopping 0 to a whopping 0. So essentially, the plants use up all of the nitrogen and all of the phosphorus that are provided in here. I have not taken a potassium reading, but something's happy because clearly we're triggering flowering, and plant growth, and yeah, it's just a very low animal biomass to plant biomass ratio, which is usually a winning combination. Generally, biodiversity makes for a win, and while I like them, ram's horn snails just munch on plants. So they will be progressively picked out of this tank and placed over into a place where they can munch algae. And I pull algae out of my various tanks, place them in that vase I was telling you about, just a glass vase, bulbous vase that's got nothing decorative in it. It's just where I throw some algae waste and keep the ram's horns alive because I don't like killing things. Otherwise, that's what's going on in this little tank, and it's pretty cool. It's been healthy, it's been jamming, it's gone right along doing its thing, and I just wanted to share it because it's changed recently with the addition of fish, the removal of the endlers that were in here. They're now in a different tank, and things are rocking along. Things are happy and healthy, and yeah, enjoying. So I'll catch you soon. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this sort of thing, give me a like, subscribe, drop some comments. I'll be happy to chat with you. Catch you later.